urgently appealing to the government for intervention as illegal mining activities continue to pollute and destroy their primary source of drinking water. They are specifically accusing the Forestry Commission of failing to act against the miners who are operating with impunity within the nearby forest reserve. The stream of Yakasi, which was initially the main source of water for domestic activities for the community, has now been rendered muddy and poisonous by persistent illegal mining operations. This is posing serious fears of impending health risks due to the contamination. Despite filing several formal complaints with the Forestry Commission and local authorities, community members say that no concrete action has been taken to halt the destruction. Matthew Ahiave is our Western North correspondent, and we're getting a bit more from him. Matthew, we're just seeing videos of the stream, and it's troubling to think that this is all the community members have been left with as source of water. What have they been telling you?
No, Mawuena, thank you very much. In fact, what is happening in the community right now is the source of water over there has been heavily destroyed by the illegal mining activities, which is, causing the community or making the community have some kind of fear that very soon they are going to have some sicknesses that may not be able to cure.
Sicknesses they may not be able to cure, but talk to us about their struggle in everyday cooking, washing, and all of that.
Okay, Mawuena, the community is having only one source of potable drinking water in addition to this very stream we are talking about. So because of the huge number of the community members, they are forced to, fetch the muddy water from this stream, which even the community, the health center at the community is even being forced to use this same muddy water for healthcare delivery.
Muddy water for healthcare delivery, and how is it affecting patient care and all of that? Now,
as for some time now, we heard about some strange sicknesses over there, which we try getting in touch, but then health officials were not able to, tell us the exact sicknesses that the community is, having. We hear you on all of these concerns, but they've been seeking to get help from authorities. Have you by yourself been able to connect with any of the respective authorities, MCE and the likes, as to their plight and the challenges they are facing? Mawuena, I've been able to fall on the forestry manager in the municipality, which he always gives excuses on this very incident. Meanwhile, the forestry guards are always in this forest reserve working, seeing this menace going on. So some of the community members, share their grievances to me.
We can take a listen to a number of them who have been speaking to Matthew just briefly.
Nania Kosuno, in soon say I say in the forest, and forest for no monk can say, Omonia West say, Galamsena Kosuno, Omunim. Forest manager Danche, Onim. Forest manager that Western North region, Onim. Obia West say near Kosunina, if you forest in him. In Suena, Essenina, if you forest him now, because I see Uncle Folk forest more, I can say, and Omuya Juma. Tiwo foni wo mo kɔ hɔ anopa awia nsu ɛsɛ if you say forest nim
ina matu galamte no ho na mo sa sisi ade omo aba ye nsu no forest na ɛwɔ the soil forest no omo say forest no ama se si akro maru enya nsuo no nti mesra aban ene MC no awo awonso aman western of minister yesre no say onfo na ni mahwe nsuo no se wa ma na mahwe yenya ye nyina bewu
medicine ema ye no ye dware ye de bibia sisi entumi fa anya hwe si aban on hwe ye na ye ho akire ye minister campa me de beto nsuo ano me wo ma mo anan kitenkiti na wufie so ya na de ye ho adwuma sisi a minister campa ye de beto nsuo ye de aduane ana ya nom na ye dware nti ye ho akire ye pa wo moaye
Bani sana wode nsuo we de no aduane ton.
Sisi a mentumi mfanya hwe. Galamse no omo ase nsuo no. Disem koto pipe ansana me dey mkuku no koko na me yeton. E business no. Sisi a nsuo no ase.
Pipe na wo kro no na ase.
Ase. Sisi akwaso obi nsuo na omo kasa.
Bula no ya ne ya buo so.
Nti we de e besra ban panifo. Nsuo ye nkwa. Samo ameboa yen a odi akese ye ni babi a yesansuo ye manom ye kwala even though sa wi abo a obeba be hu na kwala no nsuo ni ma omudware with such infect no e ba awofo a ye wo ha ye be ye den ye ni sika koko nyina hye omo nso nkwa enkoka se o enam se koko ahye nti ye de bi brem amamo abehwe moma omo de omo nko omo ye fu no omo de se ye nsom nti ye sra aban
ya so nsuo no gramse aba no say ye kasem bia aban kra ka omufi ye so ye kroya ye te so asisi ya no gramse ne de ye mpe e kira say yesu ne ye ba kompe na ye sa ye bibia o ha nti ye mpe say gramse bia beba ha na.
So those are residents there complaining, spoke in the local language. Matthew, thank you very much. But they spoke in the local language, detailing in different forms the challenges they are having to go through as a result of the pollution of the one main stream in their community. But we'll move away from this and bring you some other matters because we're going to the courts, aren't we, Kemini?
Absolutely. That's exactly where we're going, Mawuena, because lawyer for Chairman Wontumi, Andy Apiakubi, has expressed disappointment at the Attorney General's dropping of charges against the General Manager of Akonta Mining after he offered to testify against the NPP Ashanti Regional Chair, Edward Akwoko, the former fourth accused person, together with Wontumi, was facing multiple charges of undertaking a mining operation without a license, felling and abetting the felling of trees in a forest reserve without written authorization. We'll connect now with our court correspondent on this subject matter. Lord Edwasare is in court for us. Lord, what else can you tell us about this situation?
Kemini, and so you realize or recall that Wontumi is currently before two separate high courts on two separate cases. The first has to do with some activities at the Summerboy Reserve where he's been charged for permitting two persons to mine in his concession without written authorization from the sector minister. Now, that court, in that case, the prosecution today indicated to the court that they had filed their disclosures but were yet to serve it on Wontumi's lawyers, and so they prayed for a short adjournment in order to do so. So that case has been adjourned to November 12th to allow the prosecution to serve those disclosures to Wontumi's lawyers. Now, in the second matter, where the fourth accused person has offered to testify against Wontumi, that case was where the lawyer for Chairman Wontumi and Apiakubi was reacting on. Now, in that case, that sitting didn't come on because the presiding judge in the matter has gone on leave, so they actually just came to pick a date. But we spoke to Andy Apiakubi following the notice that the Attorney General had filed to drop the charges against Edward Akwoko, the General Manager of the mining concession owned by Wontumi. Now, he indicated that he's not very pleased. He actually expressed disappointment, stating that from all intents and purposes, it appears as though the Attorney General is trying to undermine the course of justice. He said that the Attorney General failed to take advantage of all the resources around him, human and otherwise, and then he's now flipping his own accused persons to as it were, serve as prosecution witness, saying that the Attorney General on that front is failing as a Minister of Justice. We can take a listen to what Ande Apiakubi has been saying concerning that matter. Kemini.
We have just been served with the notice of withdrawal of the fourth accused person.
Yes.
So they have come under the rules of court, so they have every right to do so. We are going to prepare our case when they are ready. It doesn't change our position. We have still pleaded not guilty, and we will come to prosecute the case religiously to the best of our professional expertise. Indeed, I always sound this warning that we should be careful not to attempt to influence decisions of court. Attorney General is also Minister for Justice, and his role as Minister of Justice is even more important than his role as the Attorney General and government prosecutor, because the justice of the moment is so important to every one of us as citizens of the country, because our emblem is freedom and justice. So if Attorney General, with all the materials available to him, all the resources available to him, including human personnel, if it is just for him to only rely on a former accused person to prosecute a matter against one of the accused persons or some of the accused persons, and he thinks that justice may not be undermined, that is his decision. I would have thought that his role as Minister of Justice would have persuaded him at all times to be careful that the freedom and the justice of the moment is served also on all the accused persons until they are proven guilty. But the way that the Attorney General appears to be poaching his own accused persons suggests that there is intent to undermine the cause of justice. We will resist your princess rule. Thank you.
Well, Ande Apiakubi is lawyer for the NPP's Ashanti Regional Chairman Wontumi. Lord, we'll leave it here. Thank you so much for talking to us. Lord Edwasare is our court correspondent, bringing us to a close on our court matters for today.
And we're taking you to Parliament right now because we know that the Public Accounts Committee continues its sitting, and the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry is appearing before it along with its numerous agencies. Of importance is the Minerals Commission, who are presently there right now answering questions. The Deputy Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Yusuf Sulemana, as well there. Let's take you live there right now for details.
After the December general election, we are asking about the number of lances that we have given in this year. Is that not the case? After the elections, immediately after the elections, just 4 days for the new president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, to be sworn in, 55 lances were signed. So if we are talking about new ones that were signed, we can begin from there. That at least 55 were signed. We'll go and add whatever that we have added and bring it to you.
Minister, see, I appreciate that. Minister, I appreciate that. But you see, Minister, you talked about the MCAS system. You talked about how the whole small-scale mining system is now digitized, and you get to know. We know that at the end of every month, with a click of a button, your agency, Minerals Commission, gets to know the number of licenses he has issued. And so what is the big deal in telling them that as at the month of October, at the month of September, at the month of August?
Come on, I thought you agreed that...
The interesting thing is that you remember the licenses that were issued 4 days to the expiration of the previous government.
Yes, in a
But you don't remember the number of licenses you have issued.
You are pushing me. You push me.
I never pushed you.
To tell you what
I'm here to ask the questions. That is my role as a member of parliament, and also the vice chair on this committee.
Yeah, so the 55.
Honorable member,
the 55,
if I'm going to be the chairman of this place, let me be the chairman. The minister said we need to give him up to this evening, right? He will get us the numbers. What is the big deal about it?
Nobody has disputed.
Don't let us play politics with
I have not disputed that.
Let's give him the chance. Let's give him the chance to bring the numbers, and then we can play with it. Let's move on. The next one is by Honorable Frank Diabua.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Minister. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Minister, in 2019, when the auditors came to do the audit at Minerals Commission, one of the things they found was that Minerals Commission was issuing operating permits without plans from small-scale miners. But in 2024, when they came back to do a follow-up, that has been corrected significantly. So looking at how sensitive small-scale mining and its related names are to Ghanaians, I just want to, since we have Minerals Commission CEO here, I want him to take the opportunity to explain to Ghanaians, in summary, how one can obtain, the process one has to go through in obtaining an operating permit to do small-scale mining in the country. Thank you.
I mean, are you asking of a license or operating permit? The two are not the same.
My question is on operating permit.
Operating permit?
Yes. And if you have to get a license before operating permit, that's why.
Yes, so like I said, you need to get a license. And when you get a license, you now go to EPA for EPA permits. When you get the EPA permit, you attach it to your license and come back to Minerals Commission. And when you come to Minerals Commission, the Inspectorate Division, headed by the Chief Inspector of Mines, will now assess it and give you an operating permit. It is only when you get this operating permit that you can now go and start work. But even that, when it comes to large scale, given the ruling of the Ezrin Cubic, if you don't ratify, you still don't have the right to operate. It's just that we are a bit considerate. But I think that we'll get there, where we'll have to ensure that you ratify before you can even go and start operations.
Okay, thank you, Minister. My last one. By what you just said, I just want you to walk us through. If my uncle in my village in the Ashanti region called Daba wants to enter into a small-scale mining industry, what's the process he has to go through before he can do the small-scale mining legally?
I thought that this was answered when, anyway, I'll let a technical person answer it. He is in charge of small-scale mining. So take us through the process. If somebody wants to get a license to operate in the small-scale arena, what do you have to do?
Yeah, thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, if you want to obtain license to operate small-scale mining, first of all, you have to conduct a search to ensure that the place you are interested is within a block-out area. So you conduct a search in Minerals Commission, and if you found the area to be in a block-out area and the area is free, that is what we advise you to put in application. Now you have online applications. That is what we are talking about, the MCAST. So if you put in application, then you have to go to the field and then put the pillars, the coordinate of your area of interest. Then the district officer we will inspect whether that place is conducive for mining. And the coordinates actually reflect what is on the ground. After that, we cause a gazette to be done. That is where we inform the chiefs and all the other people. And if everything is done within 21 days, there is no objection to that application, they will go ahead to process the applications. And then we make a recommendation to the minister. That is, if everything is satisfied, you make a recommendation to the minister. And if the minister approves the recommendation, that is why we allow you to pay the annual mineral right fee, you pay the ground rent, and you sign the agreement.
More of that in later broadcasts. Right now, however, residents of Sapemang and its adjoining communities are protesting the absence of a footbridge in the design on the Nsawim-Kumasi Highway. Elders within the community say they were engaged prior to the construction work only for their proposals to be ignored, a situation which could further risk the lives of their children who have to use the route on a daily basis. The protest has led to massive vehicular traffic as protesters keep blocking the movement of vehicles and even vowing to stop ongoing construction of the Nsawim-Kumasi Highway until they are given assurances. Meanwhile, a petition has been presented to the Assembly where the MC for the Ga West Municipal Assembly, John Desmond Soa, assured of acting swiftly on their concerns. Let's get the latest. George Queenan is live with the protesters. George, good afternoon to you. What's the situation on ground right now?
Kemini, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. We're coming to you live from Sapemang. As you rightly mentioned, there was a protest by residents and also some adjoining communities. That's the Opanko is the one Kumasi Highway. It's going to be a 10-lane when it's completed. So imagine students as little as 5 years crossing this very stretch without a footbridge. It's very scary, and so this is what parents are scared of. It's a reason they went as far as to protest today. And so for this very fact, it's not for them, it's for their children who are going to benefit eventually. But this very place has a footbridge. But I've counted several people using the highway without a footbridge. So it's just going to be like the case of Medina. So I posed this question to the Ewa chief of Sapemang, that's Togbi Asameglo, and he said, yes, they are lobbying to get this footbridge established at Sapemang, but also ensure that a committee is set to actually demotivate people from not using the footbridge. So if we losing the footbridge, we also ensure that these residents use the footbridge and they'll be arrested. That's what
I see. So, George, clarify for me, they have a footbridge, but they want another?
So Sapemang is, this is put as a footbridge. So I'm just going to just put some contrast here. It's just like Medina where they actually lobbied for footbridges, but they were given to them. They were not using it because they claim it's so just comparing that to this side, that's what it looks like. But this is also a different part of the highway. Sapemang is right behind me.
I see, George.
If you can look, yes, Sapemang is right behind.
George, I'm going to leave you now so you find a safe place on the road to be. But thank you for bringing us the report. George Queenan is our correspondent on the ground. He's just been reporting from the Nsawim-Kumasi Highway, where residents of Sapemang are unhappy with the absence of a footbridge there and are asking for one to be constructed for them immediately, as has been done in other stretches of the highway. We can now turn attention to other issues. Now, following the arrest of the acting head of legal of the Ghana Revenue Authority, the Office of the Special Prosecutor has directed 3 top officials of the authority to appear before it. They include the Commissioner General, Anthony Sapong, the Assistant Commissioner in charge of Finance, Celestine Annan, and the Technical Assistant to the Commissioner General, Kenneth Ejeduya. Sources close to the OSP indicate that the summons is connected to a letter allegedly issued by the acting head of legal at the request of lawyers for Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited, SML, in mid-October, when investigators believe the 3 senior officials instructed the latest release. Ejejia and Sapong are both former employees of KPMG who investigated or audited SML and their presidential directive earlier this year. Now, according to OSP sources, this is the second time the Commissioner General and the Assistant Commissioner in charge of Finance have been invited after their initial statements reportedly conflicted with the content of the letter in question. Well, let's put some faces to some of the names that you have heard already. Mawuena, what's happening? Well, we know that following that news conference last week, these were the individuals the Office of the Special Prosecutor stated were of interest. Kenneth Nanayo Oforiatta is a former finance minister. Ernest Akori was chef de cabinet to Ms. Oforiatta. There was Emmanuel Kofi Nti, who's a former commissioner general of the Ghana Revenue Authority. Reverend Amishadai Usuama was also another former commissioner general of the Ghana Revenue Authority. There was Isaac Crenstill, is a former commissioner of the Customs Division, and then Kojo Dama, who's a member of parliament as well as a former commissioner of the Customs Division. In the aftermath, yesterday, we know that the Office of the Special Prosecutor picked up one Mr. Saba, who is the head of legal at the Ghana Revenue Authority, and has subsequently invited these key individuals into wanting to have them come and provide certain explanations as to the dealings involving the company, that's the Revenue Authority, and then Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited. And so that's what we know, and that's where we are at in terms of all of these investigations. We do not know to what extent, but like you mentioned, Kemini, this is the second time that they are having to appear before the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And it remains to be seen, because we know that the President has asked or directed the Finance Minister to see to the termination of all contracts between the GRA and SML. SML has refuted the OSP's latest investigative work done into that agreement. There has been a bit of a silence on the fact that the contract between them and then the Ghana Revenue Authority as well be cancelled, but most certainly a subject matter upon which we will provide details of in terms of this particular story. But we can do some other stories right now involving the president, and the Mahama administration is taking a new approach to tackle unemployment by sending skilled Ghanaian workers abroad. We'll bring you that story after this break. Welcome back. It's still News Central here on TV3. Let's bring you by the numbers now. The Mahama administration is, well, taking on new efforts to tackle unemployment by sending skilled Ghanaian workers abroad. This year, Ghana signed agreements with Serbia, Grenada, and the Bahamas to recruit nurses and teachers for their hospitals and schools. The first deal was signed with Serbia in July, followed by Grenada and the Bahamas in October. These agreements are expected to create new opportunities for thousands of unemployed health workers and teachers. In Ghana, more than 70,000 health graduates, including nearly 50,000 nurses, remain without jobs. About 15,000 trained teachers are also still waiting for postings. For many of them, these new deals bring a glimmer of hope. The difference in pay is striking. A nurse in Ghana earns about 40,000 cedis a year, while one in the Bahamas could earn as much as 700,000 cedis a year. Now let's bring you more numbers. Mawuena is here to do just that. Mawuena, what are the numbers saying about Ghana's ability and really impact also of these labor exports?
Well, by the time we'll be done, we'll realize that in the interim, it appears a solution in dealing with our overproduction, if that's an appropriate term I can use, of nurses and teachers, because we're producing to meet a demand that we do not quite meet yet in terms of the acceptable ratios between teachers and students, nurses, and then patients as well. But due to inability to absorb them, we have to find alternatives in terms of having them get some form of employment after training them as well, because remember that the government subsidizes and as well pays allowances to both teachers and then nursing trainees as well. And so we're looking at 3 MOUs in total thus far in terms of this year. And remember, this idea has been mooted for quite a while, exporting of labor outside of the country, so that as a people we will get some returns in terms of the trainings and the monies we've expended on in training them, amongst many other things. And so we know there's Serbia, there's Grenada, and then the Bahamas as well, all who are getting some skilled employment or skilled Ghanaians to plug a deficit that they are suffering in one way or the other. In terms of the country, this is what nurse-to-patient ratio looks like. And obviously, we're at the bottom in terms of this pecking order as compared to the 3 countries that were seeking to have a lot more of our health professionals go on to as well. Teacher-to-student ratio, we tend to be leading on that front as well. But here's what I want us to look at in terms of what it is in investments that we're pumping into these persons. And this is just allowance alone that the government tends to spend per nurse or teacher. And these are estimates in terms of how much is going to them in terms of allowance every year paid by the government. Unemployed registered nurses, as of the last time of count, were in the excess regions of 48,000. And these individuals are in need of jobs. It's very, very obvious that we need to have hospitals built either by public, which is the government, or private individuals building up these hospitals so we can absorb these 48,000 plus. As we speak, there are nurses undergoing training. This year or next year, there will be nurses who get into the nursing training colleges again and will be trained to come out to be able to fill in a certain deficit or a gap which exists in terms of nurse-to-patient ratio in the country. But when they go to school and they are done, they do not get immediate employment. In terms of the unemployed teachers as well, 15,000, and every year we're training a lot more of these teachers. And so these are the concerns and the issues at play in terms of what it is, but there is alternative livelihood for them in terms of export, but it will not be able to deal with these sheer volumes that we're seeing And it requires that the conversation is upped a bit more in terms of how we begin to find ways to deal with these huge numbers, some of who end up engaging in other activities after the government has expended money in training them. That's it for you by way of By the Numbers.
Now, the Food and Drugs Authority is cautioning producers of traditional medicine against using exaggerated labels on their products. The warning comes amid rising concerns that many homegrown treatments are being marketed with unverified claims, often promising to cure serious diseases without scientific evidence or regulatory approval. Belinda Tete has more in the following report.
A significant number of herbal medicine producers operate without license. A 2023 study revealed that out of the 615 herbal products examined at the Center for Plant Medicine Research, less than 50% met quality control standards. Another BMC Complementary Medicine and Therapy study conducted in June 2025 indicates that out of the 73 herbal products identified, 46.5% had no FDA registration certification, 42.5% had no information on unwanted effects and contraindications, and 26% had no expiry dates. Following these revelations, the FDA has issued a stern warning to individuals and entities engaged in production and sale of unapproved herbal and medicinal products, underscoring a growing concern over misleading health claims and products that may neither be true nor effective.
Mostly, they will ask you, they will tell you, my product can cure ABCD health-related issues or diseases. But in reality, these indications will not be having any correlation, or the causative agent might not be the same thing. So they need to be focusing on choosing proper indication that is relating to the kind of herbal medicinal product they want to produce.
Producers are being urged to exercise due diligence in choosing proper indications that genuinely relate to the properties of their herbal or medicinal products, stressing that any individual who contravenes the law regarding food and drugs, specifically the Public Health Act 851, will be dealt with according to the law.
Make sure that whatever they produce is safe, efficacious for the public. Anybody that flouts the laws regarding food and drugs, which is the Public Health Act 851, will be dealt with according to the law. So we are telling them to be up and doing. They should come to our office. We are there to help them. That is why the state funds our activities.
Meanwhile, some producers of herbal and medicinal products have expressed their support to the FDA, urging colleagues operating outside the legal framework to follow due process. As a herbal practitioner, you need to undergo training, get certification, and then get a license from the FDA. If you're practicing without these regulations, it is against the law.
We are giving a very strong warning to those people. If you don't have any certificate, any license that you are producing medicine, we are going to hold you responsible. We are going to hold you very responsible for what you are doing. It's not right. And it's not good for the country of Ghana.
This decisive move signals a significant push to clean up the market and ensure that every medicine offered to Ghanaians meets the highest standards of safety and efficacy. This zero-tolerance stance is a necessary measure to protect the integrity of Ghana's public health system and safeguard citizens from potentially harmful, unregulated substances. Belinda Tete, TV3 News, Bono East.
Now, classrooms originally built to accommodate at least 50 learners now host more than 90 learners at the Mawuena RC Basic School in the Ketu South municipality of the Vote region. The phenomenon has resulted in overcrowded classrooms, negatively affecting teaching and learning. There's more in the following report by my colleague Faisal Abdul Idris.
People's population at the Mawuena RC Basic School in the Ketu South municipality has seen a significant increase over the years. Despite being one of the oldest schools in the municipality, the school's infrastructure remains poor and inadequate, resulting in severe overcrowding in the classrooms. Classrooms designed to accommodate about 40 to 50 learners now hold more than 90.
They are overcrowded. There are too many people. There is too much heat. I plead with the government to build us a new classroom so that there will be A, B, and C. So that at least one class will have 50 people. It will help people to learn better and help the class to be more quiet, and to help the school to develop.
The condition of the class is there is no fun in the class, and we are plenty. We are not understanding the teaching. Our teachers are teaching us because we are plenty in the class. They have to bring us fun and build a school on it.
Head teacher of the school, Williams Katamani, said the situation is negatively affecting teaching and learning and called for urgent intervention.
Yeah, and the condition is that the population, we have more populations in our classrooms. There's not over 100 students in our various classes. That is the problem we are facing in the school. It is affecting teaching and learning because the students are so much crowded in the classroom. So with a lot of heats in the classroom. So they find it very difficult to learn.
Member of Parliament for Ketu South, Abla Jifa Gomashi, on a working visit to the school, has pledged to complete a 12-unit Get Fund classroom block project, which has stalled for years to ease the congestion.
It's my duty to give to the children what I wanted for myself. So the past 4 years, I've saved something from the Common Fund, and today we've been able to give that contract out. And I'm hoping that it will ease the pressure on the classrooms. Some classrooms have over 100 students in a classroom. I mean, really. What kind of teaching can go on in that environment? So it's a headache that we've carried for a long time, and I thank God for the opportunity to do something about it.
At the Aflao Community Senior High School, the Ketu South MP also commissioned a new canteen facility to provide conducive dining space for the students.
Now, Education Minister Haruna Iddrisu says the future and success of the 24-hour economy will depend largely on skilled manpower. According to him, a comprehensive national TVET policy will serve as a guiding framework for harmonizing all TVET initiatives in the country. And it has been drafted for Cabinet's approval, which he believes will boost the 24-hour economy. He was speaking at a sword-cutting ceremony for an ultra-modern TVET institute in Salaga. Our correspondent Christopher Amwako is standing by with more on this story. Chris, what else has the minister been saying?
Yes, so Kemini, he's also been talking about a dedicated fund for TVET education in the country. He's saying that his ministry is working at getting a dedicated fund, such that issues about TVET education, talk about infrastructure and other aspects of TVET education will be addressed using the TVET fund. Let's take a listen to what the Minister for Education has been saying.
Which is not just an idea, but a vision for a new Ghana. A Ghana where factories don't go silent or go to sleep at sunset, but at least where productivity continues around the clock, where skilled Ghanaian hands can build, maintain, and innovate across all sectors of the economy. The future and the success of the 24-hour economy will depend largely on skilled manpower.
Haruna Iddrisu is Education Minister. Earlier was our correspondent in the northern region, Christopher Amwako. Take another break. We'll be right back.
As Ghana is in the process of establishing a national hydrographic office, which will be expanded into a fully fledged hydrographic agency designed to maximize the benefits of the blue economy and fulfill international obligations. According to the minister, the nation's prosperity is deeply intertwined with the health and safety of its maritime domain, which supports vital sectors from shipping and fisheries to offshore energy and environmental protection.
Speaking at the maiden hydrographic governance workshop in Ghana, the minister explained oceans provide essential source of food, medicine, medium for transportation, recreation, and in recent times, oil and gas, among others. The blue economy therefore encompasses diverse components including ocean commerce, such as shipping, fisheries, tourism, pharmaceuticals, and extractive activities, among others. Hydrography therefore provides a means to unearth the potential of the oceans. For his part, the Chief of the Naval Staff, Godwin Livinus Bessing, and reliable hydrographic information directly supports trade, fishing, maritime tourism, and coastal resilience.
What hydrography basically does is to chart the sea. By charting, we want to know the depth of the sea, the wrecks that are around, to enable you know the safe waters that are under the ship. But still also has to do with a whole lot of other areas, especially for fishing vessels. They will want to know the type of resources that are in the sea, and the hydrography is able to do that.
He added, the Ghana Navy has taken deliberate steps to build a professional hydrographic capability, not as an end in itself, but as a strategic enabler for safe navigation, economic development, and national security. The Director General of the Ghana Maritime Authority is of the view the hydrographic information will also boost the country economically.
Nigeria, for example, is budgeted to get a return of $10 million in 2026 for the selling of its charts. So this is again to indicate that as a country, hydrography is beyond just safety and security, but it is also an economy on its own. And the Ghana Maritime Authority is very much desirous of bringing the national effort so that collectively we can achieve that as a country.
Hydrography is the source of vital information for the safe navigation of ships. This information is packed in the form of nautical charts. The shipping industry requires efficiency.
That's our bulletin for you this afternoon. I am Mawuena Egbeta.
And I am Kemini Amanor. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.